Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel. Now, in today's video, we're going to be talking about four tanks. Mainly just looking at one. But these tanks are kind of special tanks, and I do not agree with what Wargaming done. I don't agree with it. I think Wargaming were wrong, and I'm not afraid to admit, and I'm not afraid to say that Wargaming, I reckon, fucked up with what they done. Now, originally there was only one of these tanks. Now, the only way that you could previously get this one tank was if you were one of the best players in the game. So yeah, you might know where I'm going with this. So the only way you could get this tank, literally, if you ever see the original tank in the battlefield, you knew that that player playing it was a great player, and you wanted to focus them because they were just so good. And then Wargaming kind of changed the way that you could get these tanks. They fucked up on one tank where they accidentally put it in the shop, or the gift store, shall I say, and then they started adding them more and more tanks as we go along. So what tanks are we actually on about? Of course, we're on about the Fearless tanks. Now, these Fearless tanks, of course, the original, the IS-6 Fearless was the tank I was talking about. If you ever see that in the battlefield, then you knew that was a very, very good player playing it. And then they went on to add the T49, the Lorraine, and of course the G-Saw. Now, Wargaming added these in basically ratings. So you could get these in ratings, and this is where I think where Wargaming went wrong. I don't think they should have ever done that, because like I said, these tanks, or this tank, especially the IS-6 Fearless, was just one of a kind. You know, you could never buy it, you could never do anything like that. You had to earn it, and only a number of players got to earn this on each server. Literally, like a handful, if that. They used to do sort of competitions back in the day, where it was the best player won a Fearless, you know, or the top two players. And then of course they changed it so anyone can earn these tanks. It doesn't matter if you're good or bad, as long as you play enough ratings games, you could get it. And that's where I think Wargaming are wrong. They are definitely wrong, and it shouldn't have been the case. So anyway, we're gonna look at all four tanks, and you know, the thing about these tanks is they're never even played. You know, Wargaming added them to the ratings, but they're still never played, which at the bottom, at the beginning, as you can see, so right at the bottom, players. So the G-Saw, only 35 players have played this in 90 days. In 3 months, 35 players. And it's even worse for the IS-6 and the Lorraine. Only 10 players have played this tank in the last 90 days. The T49 Fearless is a little bit more, 158, but by all means, that is not a lot of players that played this game, played this tank. 158 is not a lot at all. Now, when we look at all four Fearlesses, I get it, they're all different. So we have a heavy, we have a light, we have a tank destroyer, and we have a medium. So we have one of each, which, okay, fair enough. But I still think that they should never have entered the game in ratings. It should have just been, they should have just stuck to the same way they done the IS-6 Fearless, as a special tank for only the best of the best players. So what out of these do I prefer? Now, going through them, the G-Saw, I think absolutely sucks. I really, really do. The IS-6 Fearless nowadays absolutely sucks. It used to be very good, the same as the IS-6 used to be very good. When it was +2, -2 matchmaking, these had the preferential matchmaking, so you could never see tier 10. So back in the day, you know, they were actually pretty good, because you can only see tier 9 and of course tier 8 and tier 7. So this is when the IS-6, it was very, very strong. Now, the Lorraine 40T Fearless, it's not a tank that I like. I really don't like the Lorraine, mainly because it's a very difficult tank to play. I mean, it has a massive 20.4 second magazine reload, and it is very, very difficult to play that tank. the best of the bunch, I do think, is the T49 Fearless. Now, the T49 Fearless is still a difficult tank to play. It's not easy. We're actually going to just go and look at the T49. Here we go, and just see what the difference is. I mean, the DPM is actually better on the Fearless. The penetration's the same, the alpha the same, the rate of fire is better on the Fearless than the original T49. The reload is better, the shell velocity, the caliber is all the same, and the aim time is slightly worse, but nothing to write home about. And everything else, really, I mean, it's a tiny bit slower than the T49, and I know it's a tiny bit slower, but it does actually feel a lot sluggish than the original T49. Whether or not it's because the engine power, well, I don't know, actually. I really don't know, but it does feel kind of sluggish. The armor profile is actually worse. I mean, again, on the T49, it doesn't really matter because you've got no armor anyway. And of course, a lot less players are playing the T49 Fearless than they are the T49. So yeah, out of all the Fearlesses, I definitely think the T49 is the best one and probably the most fun one. The others do kind of suck in my opinion, but yeah, I suppose only the best of the best players should know how to play it. But it is a shame that Wargaming went down this route, because like, you know, they don't really mean anything anymore, and that is an absolute shame. And I would be absolutely devastated if I was one of those people that earned this tank for being the best of the best, because, you know, driving that tank, I remember my old friend Zenodium, like, he was one of the best, and when we used to platoon, he used to play in the IS-6 Fearless, and you could just see back in the day how scared the enemy was. And although they knew him anyway, they knew him to be the best player on the EU server, but, you know, when they don't know your name, but they know the tank, you know, he really did get focused, and how annoying it was being focused so much. But when I spoke to him about it, he kind of learnt from that. That's how he got so good, because he was just being focused, and it made him a better player. He had to learn different positions, you know, angles, etc., and it actually made him a better player for people focusing him so much. But yeah, I would be really pissed off if I was one of those that earned the IS-6 Fearless. Now, you can't really say the same with the other tanks, because you could never earn them, only in ratings. But the originals, you know, 4 Diesel was another one that got on EU server that managed to get the IS-6 Fearless. And back then we was in a clan, Phoenix, 4 Diesel, Zenodium, and they were like, it was a competition between them both. But yeah, it's one of those things. I definitely think Wargaming are wrong for what they did, and it's never going to change now, and ultimately we're probably going to get new Fearlesses in the future. But when only 10 people were playing it anyway, what was the point? What was the point adding them in the ratings if still no one's playing them? Like, you might as well have just left them. Do more competitions, you know, get rid of them. Do more competitions like they used to, because they don't do that no more. They don't do these competitions in game. You know, the way we originally earned the IS-3 Defender, the way we originally earned the Tankenstein, things like that, they just don't do anymore. I get they do events, but, you know, back in the day, it wasn't events as such. It's just a shame. It's a shame how it has changed, and I think it should have never changed. But that's my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Were you one of those originals that earned the IS-6 Fearless? And how do you feel about it? Let me know in the comments below. But for now, hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm meadsy69, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye-bye.